Audio on, video on, action. Alright, it's been about a week now since Hayden Panettiere's death. And now that people are starting to wake about domestic violence, drugs, alcohol, entertainment, Hollywood, we are slowly exposing more what's going on with Hayden Panettiere's neighbor. So let's check it out.
Bombshell tonight, TV and movie star Hayden Panettiere neighbor hears crying and screaming before the star's death. This, as we learn, her HOA Homeowners Association had actually put up posters, notices to block her boyfriend from getting in the building.
Wow.
Why? We also learned tonight, according to reports, that the boyfriend actually pawned Hayden's belongings before her death. Good evening. I'm Nancy Grace. This is Crime Stories. I want to thank you for being with us.
Yeah, Hayden Panettiere is a child actress who went on to great success. She detailed her substance abuse issues.
Sadly, Hayden was found unresponsive on Sunday in an apartment in Greenville, South Carolina.
She really told the world who she was beyond the superstar, the actress that we all thought we loved.
Hey everyone, infant to yourself for cardiac arrest. Open no walk, 701 Ainsley Bridge Road, apartment minute 29, responding.
Ainsley Bridge Road, overdose, CPR is in progress.
It was yesterday afternoon, and just a bunch of commotion in the hallway. The halls are pretty hollow, so noise echoes throughout. And I had just heard about someone collapsing, and then afterwards there was talk about cardiac arrest. I can't confirm any of that. That's just what I've heard. Just lots of commotion.
That from our friends at WYFF. Bombshells tonight in the investigation into the TV and movie star Hayden Panettiere's death. We're learning more and more, and all of it is very, very unsettling, to say the least. Let me remind everyone, no one has been charged, no one has been named a person of interest tonight.
All right, it's just a little bit odd how nobody's being charged, no one's a person of interest. If that was me or you, a regular person out there, Schmo Joe out in the street with a drug addiction, who's been there on the scene, we'd be automatically locked up for interrogation. Boom. So, what is up? You know what I mean? Like, come on. It's whatever.
Right. We are now learning more about the alleged use of Narcan. When was it used? Who used it? How can you tell from looking at Hayden Panettiere's body? Was it actually administered?
His brother gave us a statement that he texted Brian and Hayden on that Sunday morning, last Sunday, and didn't get a response, went to this Airbnb where they were, and then found Brian, who had just woken up, and Hayden laying in a bed, and Brian then administered Narcan to her.
Okay, that's our friend Harvey Levin over at TMZ, and I need to hear that one more time, because listen to me, I've tried a lot of cases, and every fact can prove something. I heard something very disturbing. Listen to Harvey Levin.
His brother gave us a statement that he texted Brian and Hayden on that Sunday morning, last Sunday, and didn't get a response, went to this Airbnb where they were, and then found Brian, who had just woken up, and Hayden laying in a bed, and Brian then administered Narcan to her.
Okay, straight out to Rob Shooter joining us, author of a brand new book, Queen Elizabeth III, The New American House of Windsor.
Alright, so yeah, we are watching Nancy Grace right now and giving her spiel about her neighborhood hearing crying and screaming before her death. So, you don't know, do your homework, guys, do your due diligence about what's going on in the entertainment company as for people who are addicted, self-inflicted, and have a toxic relationship with their significant other. But man, it's just a tragic. It's been already about a week now that her death, and still hasn't no arrest. So you might want to really dig in more deep, like I am doing right now. Okay.
Always peaked, to put it mildly, when I hear somebody say, "I woke up and she was dead."
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a little bit,
Nancy,
yeah.
that are ultimately going to point us in the right direction here. You're so right. Just one detail can change everything. I listened to that statement from Harvey twice too, because there's a lot of stuff in there, and a lot of it doesn't add up. Initially, we were told that she was found in a chair. Now we're being told that she was in the bed. And so I want these people to keep talking to TMZ, to keep talking to the media, to keep talking to the press, because they are going to reveal everything without even...
I definitely agree with that. Keep talking, because everything's going to keep... They're going to stumble in their words, and the more they talk and the more they lie, it's just going to keep exposing their lies. On the chair, on the bed, which one is it? On the floor? Come on.
It goes on and on.
Crime scene, ladies and gentlemen, crime scene.
They can't stop talking. They can't stop talking. Tonight, no charges, no POI, person of interest. But, Derek, how many interviews are these people going to give? And they're inconsistent. Did you hear Shooter? Shooter already pointed out that in one statement, she's dead in a chair. Another statement, oh, I woke up, she's dead beside me. I didn't know. What? Keep talking. Just keep that camera rolling, Derek.
Yeah, Nancy, I tell my clients, unfortunately sometimes after the fact, that self-snitching doesn't really help them. I understand that they want to get their story out there too. They don't want to be villainized. They don't want to look like anything is because of them. However, just like your previous guest just said, you get them talking, they're going to be inconsistent, especially if the truth is something they're trying to evade. So I generally tell my clients, you know what, let's come into the office, talk with me first before you talk to any media, any law enforcement, anything like that, because you could maybe inadvertently say things that could wind you up into the jail cell, Nancy, as you well know.
Dave Mack joining me, Crime Stories investigative reporter. Dave, there are several inconsistencies, right? What's the story on the Narcan? Who, what, where, why, when?
What we're actually being told is what Zach Hickerson, the brother of Brian Hickerson, Hayden's on and off again boyfriend, that the Narcan was found on the bed, and that according to Zach, his brother Brian had used the Narcan on Hayden. Now, Narcan is an inhaler that's inhaled through the nostrils, Nancy. And according to Brian Hickerson's brother, Zach said that it was Brian who was administering the Narcan to Hayden.
Okay, how do you use Narcan if you're passed out or you're passed off, you're dead? You can't inhale anything. So how is that Narcan going to work? You know what I mean? So that doesn't make sense unless she fell asleep and she was still breathing. Then you could acknowledge and put it in her nose or mouth. I don't know how that works, but then how do you do it when you're not actually breathing as you're dead? So that doesn't work. That doesn't make sense. So nothing that adds up. But I will give you my common sense, my 2 cents about this scenario, because there's a lot of nefarious things going on with star whackers. That thing would say star whackers.
Wait, when you say boyfriend, are you talking about this boyfriend?
I saw her leaving on a gurney. Brian was right next to her, and I asked her if she was okay. And it looked to me that she, had suffered some type of trauma that, looked to be battering. And it was clear she was terrified.
My biggest thing about domestic violence is I don't think it is taught early enough in life. Never in my life did I ever get taught what domestic violence was, right? Maybe if I did at an early age, maybe I wouldn't have done what I did. mean, I went into such a dark place, man. Drugs, alcohol, abuse. Good God Almighty, she's 5'2" on paper, 4'11" in real life. I mean, come on. Terrible thing I did to her, but yeah, you know, she's yeah, love of the life. So yeah, you never know what happens.
What the hell? What?
Is he high?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's from our friends at Inside Edition
What?
and TMZ. Okay.
Yeah, that's he just pretty much
Please put some water on. Wait
he
a
just
minute,
pretty
Jack.
much
I think I passed out. I think I knocked out right there. Let me hear that first part.
he incriminated himself by just
My biggest
doing a
thing
video
about,
right there. That's that's a video right
domestic
there.
violence
Yeah.
is, I don't think it is taught early enough in life.
Yeah.
Never in my life did I ever get taught what domestic violence was, right? Maybe if I did at an early age, maybe I wouldn't have done what I did.
Alright, so obviously he's I don't know whether he's high still or maybe just recovering, but he sounds very intoxicated still and still not in the right frame of mind. He's got a lot of explaining to do because he's got his dead ex right beside him and trying to dodge some Narcan, but I don't know. Could be anything. Who knows?
That's from TMZ. I'm almost speechless. Dr. Bethany Marshall, please help me. Dr. Bethany Marshall, renowned psychoanalyst out of the LA jurisdiction. She's on Hulu. She's on Bravo. She's on Peacock. New podcast, On the Couch with Dr. Bethany Marshall, author of Deal Breakers. Dr. Bethany, did you hear that? If somebody had told me what domestic violence was, I wouldn't have beat the out of her. Really? It's when you beat somebody. That's domestic violence.
Well, first of all,
did
you're
you
right.
hear that? Why
Yes,
isn't
I
anybody
did.
upset?
Yeah.
She's dead. That boyfriend wakes up in the bed and goes, oh, she's dead. How can that happen? And it's the same boyfriend that admits he beat her to smithereens. She got taken out on a gurney.
What he says is, if somebody had told me about domestic violence, he's trying to distance himself from domestic violence as if he didn't do it. But then later he goes on to admit
Why do you even keep saying that, Bethany? Why do you keep calling it domestic violence? That's certainly putting perfume on the pig, right? Well, when people say domestic homicide, domestic, it sounds like a Hallmark movie. Domestic. I think the kitchen table and good smells from supper and a little family sitting around the table holding hands like on the Waltons saying their prayer before dinner. That's not what this is. I do like one thing you said, the distancing. If somebody told me about domestic violence, maybe domestic violence wouldn't have happened. It's not, domestic violence isn't doing it. He did it.
He did it. He beat her. He hurt her. He administered opioids to her. But then later on in that interview where he's clearly high, he does say, well, maybe I did it. And did you see the look on the interviewer's face? I mean, she's just giving him the side eye there, shocked at how high he is.
I was coming down in the elevator and heard those two in a screaming match in the garage. And she was just kept saying, please, Brian, please stop. I myself called the sheriff's office a number of times.
From our friends at Extra. Now, I want to be very clear. No one's been charged. No one has named a person of interest. To special guest joining us tonight, Eileen Reslin. She is the senior Showbiz Exclusives investigative reporter for Daily Mail, one of the largest websites in the world. Eileen, on the story from the very beginning. Eileen, thank you for being with us. A beating is not the COD that we know of, cause of death. What do we know about Hayden Panettiere, who's leaving behind a daughter without a mother? What do we know about the circumstances surrounding her death, Eileen?
Well, I'm really glad you actually mentioned her daughter, because that is actually part of the reason that Brian became involved in her life. He found her in a very vulnerable state. And now what we know about her death is, well, there's been obviously an apparent overdose is what has been reported, and there was Narcan distributed. What's very interesting, I want to highlight a report that my colleague Dana Kennedy did for the Daily Mail exclusively. She spoke to Leslie Vogel, Hayden Panettiere's mother, who has had conversations with the police, who have informed her about what Brian has also told the police about what happened before Zach got there to the apartment. Now, this is very interesting, Nancy. He claims Brian reportedly told police that at 10:30 that Sunday before Hayden died, that she was doing her makeup, and it was seemingly like any other day they were supposed to meet up with Zach. Then Zach is unable to make contact with them, and Brian steps out to go and get something. Now, what that something is unclear. We don't know, and it hasn't been disclosed by the police. And then Brian returns to the apartment, and he somehow, we don't even know if he interacted with Hayden or not. Presumably he did. It was close quarters. And then they both somehow fall asleep for a nap. So there's really big gaps in that story, because when he comes back from that errand run, what happened there? Did they have a conversation? Did they do some drugs together? That information we don't know yet.
To Dr. William Maroney. He is a renowned medical examiner, a toxicologist, a pathologist. He is an opioid treatment expert. He is the author of American Narcan. And not only that, Maroney, while being a medical examiner, the chief medical examiner, puts his money where his mouth is and created a mobile opioid treatment facility. Dr. William Maroney, you have theories on the case tonight. It's not a case. It is the death of a beautiful young movie and TV star leaving behind a daughter without a mother. What is your analysis so far?
It's quite clear. It follows the time path of heroin, fentanyl, or opiate use. You're up early, you're getting ready, and then you take a nap. No, that's falling out.
Yeah.
They probably used together, and she might have got more than him, and he woke up and she didn't. That happens all the time. It sounds like an opiate use, somebody with substance use disorder, and a partner follow this timeline. He's bigger, whatever they snort, whatever they smoke, whatever they inject. They said there was no trauma after the autopsy, but the timeline fits opiate use. And then why else do you have this? Why do you have this if that's not an opiate use? Narcan is only going to work when you're around opiates. If you're using opiates, this is what saves your life if something goes wrong.
Well,
I learned that ChatGPT.
Okay, I don't know anything about that, so obviously this doctor knows. That's the only thing that works with the opiates, but was he on opiates or not? I don't know.
Why didn't it work?
Or was she not on opiates?
There are reasons. Polypharmacy is the number one reason why it won't work. Because the Valium, the Xanax, the cocaine, the methamphetamine, barbiturates, ketamine, alcohol, they prevent it because they're much stronger and it's not going to reverse them. The second most important reason why it won't work is it's given too late.
Yeah,
circulation stops. The heart stops. Breathing stops.
Yeah.
It's not going to go anywhere.
Exactly.
You blow this up your nose, it's not going to...
Yeah, I just said that. It blows up your nose.
Was administered after circulation and respiration.
See, I did say that. So how is that going to work if there's no circulation? You're not breathing in anything. You're dead. So that's not going to work, which made sense. I was right. There we go.
What do you mean by that?
That what I mean is you need to have it go in your nose, get in your blood, and then go to your brain. If you don't get it in time,
it's like an adrenaline.
It's not going to work because it has to transfer to your brain.
There you go.
And there was no circulation. That's why it wouldn't work. There was no
Why are you saying that?
Up the nose.
Put him up. Why are you saying there's no circulation? Do you mean she was dead?
Yes.
Speak English, man.
Exactly what I mean. She was dead, and this whole thing was a drama. That's what I think.
Yeah. There you go.
Okay, wait a minute. What do you mean by she was dead and this whole thing was a drama?
I don't... You use opiates and you fall out, you get sleep, you wake up, and somebody else is dead, but you're alive, and you have to do something, and the procedure, the timeline doesn't fit.
Boy, now the drama
She was savable.
There we go.
She was not savable.
How is Narcan supposed to work? It did not work. It did not save Hayden Panettiere's life. How is it supposed to work? You firmly believe it was administered after she's dead. Well, that's...
Yes.
I might as well administer it to that phone right there.
Yeah, it would be the same thing. Here's what you have to do. Narcan works all the time, but you have to get it in your nose.
Wow.
And it gets absorbed into your blood, and then it goes to your brain, and it tells the brain, you stop breathing. Please start breathing. You have to go in here to start breathing. It puts the heroin off. It puts the fentanyl off. It puts the OxyContin off. It pushes it off. That's how it works. And then the brain sends signals to start breathing again.
Wow.
So
that's wild. Okay, now I know how that works. That's pretty wild.
You believe the Narcan was administered after
the fact.
She's dead. Now, okay, hold on. Rob Shooter joining me, PR guru who is familiar with Hayden Panettiere, author.
Okay, so I'm going to end it here because I'm going too long right now. So if you want to watch Nancy Grace, go check out her channel. I'll have the links provided below. So Hayden Panettiere's neighbor hears the crying, and now the drama continues about the Narcan. Now I know what's going on about Narcan, how that works. You have to be breathing actually for it to work, to kick into your system, to your bloodstream, for it to hit your brain, the brain to your heart, and then it starts to pump again. So that's how Narcan works. I think I kind of figured it out on my own, but it solidified the fact that the doctor said it. Now I understand how that works. So hey, I'm not a doctor, but you know, you have to use common sense why that Narcan works and why you have it in you. She was apparently not breathing. She was dead already. And how had that Narcan go into her stream unless she shoved it in there, right? So I don't know. I wasn't there. So you have to put two together, do your own common sense, and do your own digging, and do your own due diligence about what really went on with Hayden Panettiere's death and her ex beside her and her brother. So why isn't anybody getting arrested? I don't know. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I'll have more videos, commentary coming very shortly. I'll have more reactions, and this is another reaction. 1 week death of Hayden Panettiere's tragic death. Okay, guys. Bye for now. God bless. Godspeed, and we will see you on the next reaction. Bye.